And the news we're looking at today is another land pre-sale from the Sandbox. So we're going to go into a bit of detail about this, more than just the news that is happening, but it's kind of worth kind of anchoring that stuff, I suppose, onto the fact there is another land pre-sale. This is the fourth land pre-sale that the Sandbox has done. The Sandbox, broadly, we can see it as some sort of attempt to do a Minecraft or a Roblox on the blockchain. So you have these bits of land which are effectively the kind of play areas, the sandboxes, the play areas that players will own, and then they can have these items. They can create items or buy items, and then create kind of environments within those sandboxes. So the land is a kind of a NFT, non-fungible token. That is something, a unique item. Obviously, the uniqueness in this case is the location in the Sandbox world. And you own it in a Ethereum-based wallet. So the Sandbox pre-sales to date have been very successful. They've all sold out very quickly. I have no doubt that the fourth pre-sale will also sell out very quickly. So Tuesday, the 4th of August at 1 p.m. GMT. Although this is the first of one round, so there's several rounds coming out, and this is actually, it's been kind of interesting that the first, as the rounds have gone on, they've been selling, the Sandbox has been selling larger or more parcels of land, but they've also sold out very quickly. There is a 10% discount on this one, so I mean this is slightly made up kind of marketing. This is a 10% discount to the kind of the final price at which the Sandbox will be selling its land, but this is not very clear that you're kind of getting a good deal here. I'll go into a bit of that reason why that's the case. But quickly, we can see here, so this is the first round. I mean, this is, in a sense, a little bit meaningless. We'll go and have a look at this in a bit more detail, but this is the location. There are 4,563 land parcels for sale. So yeah, the fourth pre-sale is divided into multiple rounds lasting several months. So, you know, the Sandbox has definitely been very good at marketing these, and it definitely has demand because it's sold them all out. One interesting element here is they are launching these premium lands for the first time. So I think this is a way of kind of maximizing the sale, because clearly there's a lot of demand. So what do you get? Premium lands. So premium lands are a single parcel of land. So not actually bigger. In the past, they've sold kind of parcels of land that have been larger. So you can think of a single parcel of land as a kind of the smallest scale that you get in the Sandbox, and then you buy 2x2s, or I think they've been 16x16s even. So they've been these bigger areas. But now these premium lands are a premium location. So it's not necessarily it's not really well understood, I think, what this premium location is. So there are these other partner brands, like a famous Atari was, I guess, a famous one in the last round. So you can get, it's kind of sometimes seen that to get a location close to some of these brands might be more valuable in some weird way. I don't know. It's very unclear at the moment. But anyway, this is what they're saying with this premium location. Because obviously, the thinking is if there is a big Atari area, they're going to get kind of more visitors potentially. Okay, so also with the premium land, you get these assets. So assets are the things you put on in your Sandbox. So you're going to get common. Obviously, there's as always split between common, rare, epic, legendary. And the only way at the moment to get premium assets is to buy premium lands. I mean, obviously, when the game launches properly, then you better buy premium assets. So here's a kind of like a kind of showing you what it will look like. For this land, it's going to cost you $100, 0.41 ETH. Although obviously that price may change depending on the price of ETH, which is up at the moment. Here's the locations, one size, 1x1, and then you get a pink tree, a kind of T-Rex thing, a spaceship, a monster racer. So you buy those things together. So that kind of makes sense. We go through all this kind of stuff. So yeah, there are these. If we make sense of this, here are the parcels. There's estates. So you get extra large. So the largest estate is 576 individual parcels of land. Is that right? Yeah. And the price is $20,000. Okay. So the cheapest land they're saying is going to be $43. The premium one is going to be $100. So you can kind of see how it all works out on the discounts. But let's have a quick look and actually kind of see what's happened in the previous land sales. So this provides some sort of context into the money that the Sandbox has been raising in comparison to other games. So this is just a graph that we created at that radar, looking at the value of these pre-sale NFT sales. So a pre-sale is just a game selling items really before the game is kind of properly released or just before it's released. So vertically here we have thousands of dollars, US dollars, and depending on the blockchain, so Ethereum is the main blockchain where these things have been sold, but also some on Tron and EOS. So that's just the color coding there. And we can see here this is for 2020. So I think the first Sandbox pre-sale happened in end of 2019. So this is the second Sandbox pre-sale here, getting on about $300,000. Then we have this really big one here. This is per day. So there will be other there will be kind of more value that the Sandbox raised in these other days, but this is just kind of the kind of launch day. So you can see the Sandbox so far has been by far and away the third Sandbox pre-sale has been by far and away the biggest pre-sale of any blockchain game in 2020 so far. Happened at the end of 31st of March and did $700,000 worth. All in all, Sandbox has easily done over $1 million worth in selling this kind of pre-sale land. It also has done a pre-sale around here in June and July. They called the Moon pre-sale, and that was like a smaller pre-sale that was just selling off smaller parcels over periods of days. So there wasn't like a big spike on that one. But the Sandbox is definitely the blockchain game with the most kind of hype about it doing pre-sales at the moment, and this is all based on this land system. So that's obviously really fed into the psychology of people who are buying this stuff, and clearly these people are not buying this because they want to own lots of land in the Sandbox. They are buying it because they think that Sandbox is going to be a very successful game, and they want to obviously sell it on. That's one of the points of having blockchain items, that people own them and then can kind of trade them, and particularly not so much in games, but particularly in what we might call metaverses, so projects like Decentraland and Crypto Voxels and things like that, and some other ones as well. There've been quite a lot of speculation, people prepared to spend tens of thousands of dollars buying these particular land, which they think has more value than just the NFT characters in games. And the Sandbox has definitely been done well as kind of part of this trend where people are buying this kind of specific land locations in these metaverse universes. So if you actually go to the Sandbox website and have a look, this is the land that has been sold so far. It's a bit difficult to see this. So this is the first pre-sale is this area kind of here, and we can start to see some of these brands that have been involved. So there's Mind Fund, which is I think a VC fund, Crypto Motors, Crypto Kitties here. Sandbox has its own stuff dotted around. There's Maker, Shaun the Sheep, Delta Time, F1 Delta Time, the game. As we got the Crypto Whale here, kind of well known, a whale shark. Sorry, well known guy in the crypto, or character, I should say, in the crypto space. I assume it's a guy if that's their avatar. So that was the kind of the first pre-sale. First and second was this area. I think that accounted for 30% overall. Then we had the third pre-sale, which was this area. So you can see Atari was the big one there. Again, some of these other blockchain games. We have League of Kingdoms in there, MetaMask. I don't know the skull. Who are these people? Not going to come up for me, is it? I don't know. But anyway, various groups. One of the reasons I think the game has been successful is the Sandbox have been very successful about pulling up these partnerships with people and kind of getting the whole community involved. But quite so quite where good, it's quite hard for me to judge is it where good locations will be. And I think this is one of the problems with pre-sales in general. You're basically buying into a vision which may or may not happen, and it's not very clear to me that Atari is a the biggest kind of space here. But do people like Atari still? What's the experience going to be like in Atari? Is it going to be good to be situated right next to the Atari area, or maybe some of these other areas will have really talented creators in there, and they may be kind of more interesting. So I think it's part of my cynicism, not cynicism so much, but part of my thinking around this is, with any pre-sale, it's very unclear what the popular areas are going to be. So you are taking, I think people are not very clear on the risks they're taking by buying what they think is a good area, and they have no idea whether it is a good area. So pre-sale 4, so the moon sale was this other one that was kind of went on for a long period of time, selling bits and bobs. But now we have this pre-sale 4, so we can kind of see here. This is where the pre-sale 4 is going to be coming. This, and we get an idea of the size. So it is a area-wise looks kind of bigger, I think, than number 3. But this is how it's going to go. So that's what we have with the sandbox at the moment. But let's also just have a quick look at what's going on OpenSea. OpenSea is the third-party marketplace for Ethereum-based NFTs. And if you own an NFT, you can go and sell it. So what we're seeing here is, I've just pulled up the sandbox. So there are, at the moment, 32,876 lands from Sandbox. They're not all for sale. I think that's all the land that's being produced. But here we are looking at, I've selected this to the lowest price land. So one of the things about blockchain is clearly at the start of a project, the developer will set a price for what they think their assets are worth. And they're making that up. They have no idea. And I think when we think about kind of, without getting too psychological, when we think about kind of pricing dynamics, people get very focused on what we call anchor prices. So if the price of something is seen as like $10, then people expect compare that to something else and get $10 of value. And if the thing was originally priced at $100 and now it's down to $10, it's very hard for us to think that's not a great bargain. Although whether the thing was actually $100 in the first place, who knows? Although there are obviously laws around that sort of stuff now in the real world. And I'm not saying at all actually that the sandbox people are being duplicitous in what they're doing, but clearly they are setting up a pricing system which I'm sure they think is equitable, and they're actually saying that this is our pricing mechanic, and if you get involved in these pre-sales, you get it for a 10% discount now. It has been 20% discount, I think even 30% for the first round. But we have no idea what the actual trading value of these things are. We have no idea if the sandbox is going to be successful. We have no idea actually which lands are going to be most popular. So all these things is like a massive uncertainty. Excuse me. There's a massive uncertainty, and I kind of think people just need to be aware of that. I think if you're spending 1.65 ETH on buying a land, I think that's probably okay. I think you kind of know what you're getting into. What's that going to be? Probably $40 worth, and depending on what the price is, $50 worth. If it doubles in value and you sell it, you're going to be kind of happy, but you're not going to, you're not basing your financial future on that. Some of these people who are a bit more into kind of trading as a kind of day pursuit, you may be dropping tens of thousands of dollars, and I kind of think that's a little bit dangerous if you think about the kind of uncertainty profile around what's going on. Of course, the sandbox, there is a percentage chance that sandbox will be enormously successful, and there's only a certain amount of land. So some of these things may become very valuable in the future. Obviously, that's what the risk-reward mechanic is these people are betting on. But I just kind of think for the common or garden person, you may want to think a bit more carefully about that. So I do have one piece of land. I didn't buy it in a pre-sale. I bought it on OpenSea. I can't remember how much I paid for it. Not very much. But the other thing is also you can see here is when you have a lot of land, and at the moment the game's not live, so no one has a clue about how much this stuff's going to be worth. There's a lot of land out there, as we can see. Thousands and thousands of these lands are out there, and we can see immediately here people have bought these at a certain price, and they're trying to flip them. So looks like 0.2 ETH seems to be like a popular price for these, but because there's so many, why would you buy unless you particularly care about the location, which no one knows about at the moment? No one knows what the best locations are, and this kind of model doesn't really show you where it is. I mean, you can go through and have a look at it, but you can't really filter by I want to buy one near the Atari kind of area. So it's kind of quite hard to work out what's going on here, and you can kind of start to see, obviously, with any trading system, some people some people are just happy to put them at 0.2. Some people want to sell them, so they go beyond 0.2, and then we find a equilibrium where at the moment no one will go to 0.15 because they bought them at a certain price. But clearly, at the moment, if I was going to buy something, I'd come in here and I'd probably get a fairly good deal. I would think. So that's just kind of trying to put some thinking around these pre-sales. Personally, I don't have a problem with pre-sales. I have got involved in them. I never get involved with them to make money. But often I think, and we've seen this with token sales and all manner of ICOs, IEOs, whatever kind of thing, whatever yield farming now. At the beginning, the price of the thing always goes up. And I would say 95%, probably more than that, in 95% of the cases, after that initial week of kind of pricing uncertainty and everyone getting very excited and to the moon and all that sort of stuff, the price always goes down and can go down by, as much as 90%, maybe only 50%. But if you just, generally, we know the sandbox isn't going to go live anytime soon anyway, so there's no utility around this kind of stuff. So the price will probably go down, I would think, as more kind of volume comes into the market and there's no one buying it, because why would they buy it? Because the game's not live. You get the model. Anyway, just some thinking around, not particularly the sandbox, but that's, I think, a good example. Yeah, there we go. Thanks for watching. This is Blockchain Gaming World, where we spend our time thinking about blockchain games and probably spending too much money in pre-sales. That's the other thing. It may not be very much just to buy one land, but the amount of pre-sales out there is quite a lot, and it can kind of mount up if you're not a big crypto whale who got into the Ethereum ICO back in the day. I did not, so maybe I'm a bit more careful with my ETH than some other people in the space. But thanks for watching this video. If you're into blockchain games and that sort of stuff, please do subscribe. Pretty active. And hopefully these videos are interesting and informative. Yeah, thanks for watching the video. Hope to see you again soon.